Critical updates about our Rangers right now. Urgent news from the last 24 hours this Sunday. Dave King could break Rangers cover yet again within days at Ibrox. Rangers' painful admission made after FAB meeting this week. Absolute mugs, the top 10 most valuable Scottish Premiership players as Celtic dominate Rangers with £11 million stars leading list. Rangers set to be limited by UEFA amid multi-million investment development. Why Rangers star is convinced title challenge is on and the trait that should be a given. Motherwell manager claims he will apply Rangers legends' words of wisdom versus Celtic. The latest and biggest Rangers news right here. Activate the notification bell and let's go. Dave King poking his head up again, eh? Just when you thought it was safe to focus on the pitch, he's apparently ready to stir the pot right after the Aberdeen game on 30 October, according to Hugh Keevins. King's had a bit to say already this season, giving the board both barrels. And now, with the pressure mounting on Philippe Clement after that Kilmarnock fiasco, King might be biding his time for the right moment to strike. Feels a bit like he's lurking in the background, doesn't it? Waiting for things to boil over before making his move. Clement's lot need a win against St Mirren at Rangers today, no two ways about it. But a result up at Pittodrie could be even more critical. It's a no-win scenario though, isn't it? If we beat St Mirren, it's just business as usual. But if we falter, it's meltdown mode. Especially since we couldn't even build on that 2-2 draw between Celtic and Aberdeen. That Kilmarnock loss cut deep, and now we're playing catch-up again. You can bet King's watching this all unfold like a hawk, ready to swoop in with his take if things go pear-shaped at Pittodrie. Maybe he's thinking, one more slip and I'll remind the lot of them who still got a stake in this club. Classic Dave King strategy, isn't it? But the big question is, do you reckon King genuinely wants what's best for Rangers? Or is he just playing games to stay relevant and keep the heat on the board? Well, Gary Keown didn't hold back, did he? Treating fans like absolute mugs, and that's a punch to the gut if ever there was one. And after that fan advisory board meeting with John Gilligan, it's clear folk aren't feeling too rosy about what's going on behind the scenes. The minutes from that meeting read like the kind of thing you'd expect from a club that's lost the plot, as if one hand's reaching for the fans' wallets, while the other hand's got no idea what's going on at all. The situation is turning into a proper shambles. Still no sign of new boardroom appointments, the supporters are fed up being kept in the dark, and they're getting blamed for things going wrong higher up. Add the Hampton debacle to the mix, and it's a miracle anyone's even turning up at Rangers at this point without bringing pitchforks. That late disaster at Kilmarnock last week only made things worse. Celtic and Aberdeen gift-wrapped an opportunity, and we went and slammed the door on ourselves like clowns. A thrashing of FCSB midweek? Nice, but does it really calm the waters? Nah, it doesn't even scratch the surface. Especially with Aberdeen stretching their gap over us to 9 points after their win yesterday. And here we are staring down the barrel of a Pittodrie trip on 30 of October. Here's the kicker. Do you feel like the current board's actually got a clue? Or are they just hoping we'll shut up and keep paying up while they run Rangers into the ground? Right, so Celtic are hogging the top 10 list of the most valuable players in the Scottish Premiership, eh? Typical. According to Transfermarkt, 9 of the 10 most valuable lads in the league are in Brendan Rodgers' squad, with their top stars Cameron Carter-Vickers and Kyogo Furuhashi each clocking in at around £11 million. Meanwhile, poor old Rangers only sneak in at the 10th spot with Vaclav Cerny, valued at a mere £7 million. That's almost half of what Celtic's top players are worth. Makes you wonder what's going on at Rangers, doesn't it? Apparently, most of our big-money talent is lurking just outside the top 10. 7 Rangers players are sitting in the 11th to 20th range. But what good is that? It's like having the best seat outside the pub when all the action's inside. Meanwhile, Hearts' Lawrence Shankland, with a value of £3.5 million, is still flying the flag for the non-Old Firm lads. Fair play to him. And as the January transfer window creeps closer, it's not just about bringing in fresh faces. It's about keeping hold of the ones we've got. Celtic seem ready to rake it in if they decide to sell, while we're left hoping Clement can squeeze some magic out of what we've got without needing a fire sale. But here's the kicker. How on earth have Rangers let Celtic lap us this badly when it comes to building squad value? Are we making daft signings? Or is there something fundamentally broken in how the club's being run? So it looks like even if Graham Souness and Billy Walker fancy throwing £50 million at Rangers, UEFA's financial rules mean we can't just splash it all on shiny new signings. Thanks to their new rulebook, we're only allowed to spend 70% of our annual income on football operations. Typical, eh? Just when we might have a sniff of a big investment, we're told to keep it sensible. Even if Walker does get involved, the cash won't just go straight into Clement's war chest. Instead, we'd be looking at clever, long-term plays, improving the academy, upgrading infrastructure, or tightening up the non-playing operations. All the dull stuff that, in theory, makes us more sustainable down the line. The hope is that by sorting the club out properly off the pitch, we can start to see the rewards on it. But you know how patient folk around Rangers are, right? And here's the thing. Do you reckon these financial fair play rules are just making it easier for Celtic to keep us in their rearview mirror? Or is it time Rangers embrace the idea of steady growth, even if it means a few lean years before we see the benefits? Connor Barron sounds fired up, doesn't he? Fair play to him. He's not buying into the doom and gloom chat from the outside and is convinced the title challenge is still alive. If, and it's a big if, the team can match that energy from the FCSB win every week. We've heard this sort of rallying cry before, though, haven't we? Saying it's easy, doing it every week, especially on wet Sundays at places like Rugby Park, has been Rangers' Achilles heel. Barron's spot on about the basics. Putting in the graft should be non-negotiable when you pull on that blue jersey. The problem is, we've been a bit of a roller coaster. One week it's fast starts and high standards, the next it's flat as a pancake. It's all well and good having that buzz in Europe, but if you can't bottle that up and bring it to the domestic grind every week, what's the point? Clement and the squad are under serious heat going into today's game against St. Mirren, and it only cranks up for Aberdeen midweek. A couple more slip-ups, and it's not just a gap at the top, it's a canyon. And let's be honest, the fans have zero patience left for half-hearted efforts, no matter the excuses. Here's a thought. Do you reckon these players truly understand the weight of the badge? Or are they just saying what we want to hear while hiding behind one good performance now and then? Stuart Kettlewell getting some wisdom from Archie Knox, now that's class. If there's one man who knows a thing or two about setting a team up for a battle, it's Knox. With his time alongside Walter Smith during the legendary 9-in-a-row days, Knox could write a book on what it takes to grind out wins week after week. Apparently, the old-school coach was in the stands for our 4-0 Europa League win, giving Kettlewell a wee masterclass about the importance of playing your strongest side every single time. No resting for tomorrow when today's game still needs winning. Simple but solid advice, if you ask me. Knox's message will hit home for Kettlewell, especially with Motherwell's squad held together with duct tape and prayers ahead of their clash with Celtic. He's right, though. All this chopping and changing might suit European clubs with bloated squads, but in Scottish football, it's all about putting your best men on the pitch and getting stuck in. Too many times Rangers have been guilty of looking too far ahead, only to trip over the game right in front of us, like that debacle at Kilmarnock last week. It's good to hear someone still preaching the old ways of football, though. Knox didn't mess about back in his day, and his message is as relevant now as it was during our 9-in-a-row run. Here's one for you. With all the talk of squad rotation these days, do you think Rangers would benefit from going back to that old-school mentality, playing the strongest XI every game, no excuses? Or is modern football too far gone for that kind of approach? Comment below what you think about the news. If you haven't seen the big news from yesterday, I'll leave it here on the screen. Go check it out. It's a great video. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.